Fast and Furious franchise has been going for quite a while, and a lot of people are wondering, is it finally going to run out of gas? Well, this weekend you'll be able to find out for yourself when F9 finally comes into theaters, and well, I got the lowdown if you guys should check it out this week. What's going on, buddy? My name is Zach, and welcome back to a brand new movie review. Today we're discussing Fast and Furious 9, or F9, the Fast Saga. I hate when they change these titles, but this installment is, of course, about Dominic Toretto, who is living the quiet life off the grid with Letty and his son, but they know that danger always lurks just over the peaceful horizon. This time, that threat forces Dom to confront the sins of his past to save those he loves most. His crew soon comes together to stop a world-shattering plot by the most skilled assassin and high-performance driver they've ever encountered, and that person is Dom's forsaken brother, played by John Cena. Now, for me, the Fast and Furious franchise has always been one of those great guilty pleasures to jump right into. I love the first one. The second and third one are fine. Fourth one I've kind of come around a little bit more on, but it's still fun for the most part. 5, 6, and 7 are phenomenal. I adore them. 8... everyone thought 7 should have been the end, but 8 was at least entertaining, but missed certain values that this franchise that we all come to know and love. And Hobbs and Shaw was, again, entertaining, but was missing certain flares that this franchise really needs. And for me, the biggest element of the Fast and Furious franchise is the theme of family. These characters are truly the heart and soul of this entire franchise. Yes, all the action, all the entertaining set pieces are great as always. And those are going to be the things that you truly adore. And even though maybe they go a little bit too wild, which we'll talk about, the thing about theme of family and all that sorts of stuff, and I know that's meme to hell when it comes to Fast and Furious, that's the stuff that I come to these films for. And if you don't disgrace that stuff, then I'm still going to be on board for whatever you guys prepare me and give to me, because that's the reason I do come to these, which is insane to think about, but I do come to these, and the action is kind of an added bonus to that. And F9 continues that. I feel like for me, F8, Fast and Furious 8, really much missed out on the family element. It was still there, but it felt disjointed at times, and it just felt weird, especially on rewatches when you watch that. Don't get me wrong, the action, all that stuff, great, but it was missing that heart that I really needed in there. I found Fast and Furious 9 to continue that, though, and bring that heart and soul back that I really feel like this franchise was heavily needing. And a lot of that goes to the stuff that they do with Dom's past. Now, this is a non-spoiler review, but I will say the trailers did show a lot of this. Pretty much the Act 1 set piece, the Act 2 set piece, and the Act 3 set piece. So all the entertaining things that you love, you've pretty much seen a majority of it. So the story-wise, though, I'm pretty much going to stay away from a lot of it, even though it's Fast and Furious and really much there's not much to spoil, especially since the trailers gave away everything. But I did love what they did with Dom's brother in here and the way that they kind of go about into that past. Honestly, for me, John Cena was just fine in the film. I didn't find him to really give such a big addition to this franchise, but again, I liked what they did with his character, and I liked what they did with Dom himself, which again goes to my biggest pro, which is the family element. I love seeing these characters interact, and Vin Diesel, Michelle Rodriguez, Ludacris, Roman Pierce himself, whatever you want to call it, all these characters are phenomenal with one another, and they always have that great chemistry. And Nathalia Emanuel, I think, is always just great as Ramsey. I think she's really much segued herself into a great addition within this team. But one of the things that we did see in the trailer was, of course, Han coming back. Justice for Han, something that all of us been screaming for such a long time. And overall, I was happy that Han came back. The explanation with him coming back, a little bit too convoluted, which maybe can delve into a little bit one of my cons, which we will talk about in a second. But I did like that he did come back. I didn't think he needed to, but his addition in here was felt, and I liked it. And while the characters are the reason that I continue to really be invested with this franchise, one of the things that really does come into play here, and one of the things that I really liked, was, again, the action set pieces. I know, again, they've been kind of going over and almost jumping the shark, and I think for some people, they might jump the shark on this one. This might be kind of the place where you're like, all right, the gas is done. It's over. I'm tired of this. This is just too stupid at this point. And it is stupid. It's wild, but at the same time, for me, I found it entertaining. Even though almost all the set pieces were ruined, I actually liked how self-aware they actually were within certain of these moments. And again, I think it provides some nice laughs in there, and even some nice WTF moments when you're sitting there and going, what in the actual Even though you're having those moments with yourself, it's still fun because they again play on that self-awareness. Because there were certain moments in here where I was sitting there, I was like, they should have died there, they should have died there, they definitely should have died there. And I know we've had those moments in the past with other Fast and Furious franchise moments, but this one, you really have to turn your brain off completely, take the key out, throw it away, throw all logic aside, and just sit there and just shove popcorn in your face. Because that's the only way to get through this one. It is probably the stupidest movie yet in this franchise, and they do go forward within their playing on this, and it always just makes me laugh when I think back to the first film and what they were accomplishing there, and then seeing their whole entire journey up to this point. And again, like I said, some people will like that, some people will be done with the franchise after this one. I think really much, I know they have planned 10 and 11, but I think for those next installments, they really much need to take a little bit slower of a ride for those next two. Don't go too big, because they went pretty damn big in here, and if you've seen from the trailer, obviously, they do go to space. I didn't love that stuff, and I guess this is kind of me segueing into my cons here. Because while I, again, enjoyed the film, I thought it was entertaining, I actually liked it more than 8 overall, because, again, they brought back that family element that I thought was niched in super well into this one, and that's, again, the biggest aspect for why I go see these franchises. Getting back to the convoluted stuff, that's kind of one of the elements. It's kind of out of left field. For me, the entire story, I didn't think hinged on that moment. A rewrite could have completely gotten rid of it, and it just seems like they did it for the sake of doing it. And again, logic being thrown out, you really can't think on this part because it is really stupid. While entertaining, I sat there just rolling my eyes like, this is the stupidest thing I've seen yet in this franchise, and I really didn't think it was needed. And kind of even going from there, there are moments, again, where I know we've seen these characters survive some of the death-defying odds that they should have died on, but in this one, there are moments where I'm like, they should have died from that. And it really made no sense to why they didn't. I get you're not supposed to think too much when it comes down to those moments, but I was sitting there and I'm like, hey, if we're being self-aware, you kind of need some answers to certain ones of these. And, you know, it does, again, bring some nice elements into it, especially within the dialogue and the interactions between characters, but again, this film franchise doesn't need to be too convoluted, and for me, I think they do need to take a little breather back from that all and leave kind of the dumb sci-fi elements to maybe Hobbs and Shaw a little bit more. Because what that ends up doing is leaving no stakes for this franchise, and it's like they kill a character off, they bring them back. They kill a character off, they bring them back. Even though that character should have died where they died at. And again, while I'm happy that they bring them back, there again leaves to that no stakes, and that self-awareness, while fun and entertaining, I understand, but you do really need to give at least some answers to that. And maybe, again, maybe I'm thinking too much, and you're probably thinking to yourself, this is the Fast and Furious film, why is this guy thinking too much? Well, again, I tried to turn off my brain, and it was off, but the key was still in, and I need to just pull it out and throw it away at that point. Fast and Furious franchise is back, and F9 continues exactly what the other ones have kind of been building up on. Building the stakes, never really giving you those stakes because no one ever dies, but just continuing and going bigger than ever. I have no idea what they're going to do for 10 and 11. I can't even think to how they're going to be going to space. I don't think they need to. I think they need to kind of halt it back and kind of go back to more 5, 6, and 7, because I think that's where this franchise really much hit its middle ground and really much hit and ran with the best stride that they possibly could. Again, Fast 9, it's not the best in the franchise, but it still is wild, and that might be it for some, but for me, I found it entertaining. I muttered to myself WTF quite a few times, but it's got family, which is and always will be the main soul and focus for me in this franchise. While, again, they're not the deepest characters, I really like the chemistry between everyone in here, and that always has become the main center focus for me and the reason that I go see these. Take those characters out, this ends up becoming a very generic action film that we've seen literally 1,100 times before, but since it has that heart and soul into it, that is the reason that I continue to go to the Fast and Furious films, and I will still continue to go to them as long as they never mess that up. And that was the one thing I was nervous about, especially with adding the John Cena character in here, Jacob, Dom's brother, who comes out of nowhere. But even then, while I just thought John Cena was fine in the film, I like what they did with Jacob overall, and I'm excited to see what they do with 10 and 11. I just hope they bring it back a little bit, reel it in, and let's not go to space anymore. So with all that said, I'm going to give F9 a B-. This is where you guys come in. Make sure to comment down below. Let me know your guys' thoughts. How excited are you for this franchise? Are you not? Let's discuss it all down there. As well, guys, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. And as well as head on over to Samchon Films on how to see films early. I love talking movies. And if you love talking movies, then this is truly the channel for you guys. And also, just a big thank you to you and a big thank you to my Patreon supporters for always watching and really much supporting. It means a lot. And I can't wait for the next movie review with you guys. So, of course, until next time, stay classy.